Can I get you? when the sun is trying to get up, but then it doesn't, and then it just goes back down, then we have a lot of these clouds. It's absolutely gorgeous. Imagine swimming in that.
Yeah, doing a cold plunge in that.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Oh, it's frozen.
Yeah, you can ice skate.
Maybe it's not.
Wow.
It's the first forest I've seen.
Alright, so 2 hours. That means that we are gonna be back at the bus. Oh, you guys got this? I believe in you. What time are we getting back on the bus? 12:45.
Go to the showers and wash without your swimsuit before entering the pool. Step 3. Remember that we only have one pool. Behind the pool are hot springs with boiling hot water. Never ever go there. Hot springs are very dangerous.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. It's really good for your feet. So we're here in the secret lagoon here in Iceland. This is the island's first swimming pool where all the people used to learn how to swim here apparently back in the day. And just going to give a few thoughts on Iceland. Today is -10, -11, so it's a super brilliant day to come and do a hot spring because it can do your hot and cold. I feel kind of privileged to be here, coming to an island where my grandma visited back in the 90s with her sister, my German Jewish grandma. And also she knitted a balaclava back in the day, which I've been wearing on this trip. It's been awesome. And we were all booked to come to Iceland in 2020, then the pandemic hit. And so now in 2025, finally we've managed to come here. It's a very expensive place, but you kind of expect that before you come. So I'm going to enjoy this lagoon. And the key here as well in this hot spring is to get out in the -11 temperature, get cold, and then come back in the warm water. It's really warm here. It's absolutely beautiful, and there's volcanic stones that are giving you reflexology as you walk along the bottom. But coming from the cold back into the hot is super good for your circulation, and all the Icelandic people do it to boost their immune system. So back in the hotel room after one day in Reykjavík, the day of arrival, and then 2 solid days of touring the Golden Circle and then the South Coast tour. So feeling tired, but in a nice kind of way. Today we managed to obtain these traditional Icelandic sweaters, which are not cheap, but apparently will last you a lifetime if you take good care of them. And these ones that are handmade, they come with like the name of the person who's made them as well, which I think this person might be called Huldu something. I can't read that too well. So definitely a nice memento to take home from Iceland, something to take care of. And I just want to give just a few brief words on coming to Iceland in the dead of winter, in this case just after Christmas. I think we did the right thing. We came at the right time of year for a number of reasons. Firstly, we were really blessed to have snow here while we were here, so it really kind of transforms the landscape into quite a magical wonderland, really. It was cold, but that was sort of part of the fun. Secondly, I do believe there are less people that come here in the winter as opposed to the summer, so it was busy, but perhaps less busy than it would be in the summer. And thirdly, I was initially worried that because of the reduced hours of daylight, that the tours, we might suffer on the tours, we might be wasting our money. So, you know, seeing some of the sites in darkness and not being able to see them properly. But in actual fact, that wasn't the case. We were in early January, and by the time we arrived at the first stop-off point on each tour, the sun was actually coming up, and by the time we reached the very last stop-off point, it was just starting to go down. Today, we would have had the last waterfall in darkness, because that waterfall is apparently lit up at night, had we been able to go to the glacier. But that was the one stop we couldn't do today because the winds got really fierce and were too dangerous. So in the end, even the final stop off, we got in the daylight. So don't worry about doing any tours in winter when there's reduced daylight, because they do plan it all around the rising and setting of the sun, and it's all to a brilliantly worked out schedule. Tours were excellent. Tour guides were super knowledgeable, very friendly and helpful. I do find that the Icelandic people on the whole, I find them to be really friendly and kind. This experience so far, so it's been absolutely wonderful here. So come in the winter if you can, but I would like to come back one day in the summer as well to see how different it is then in the land where the sun doesn't set, which is what Iceland becomes in the summer. So signing out, going home tomorrow. Ciao for now from Reykjavík. Bye.